What's up and welcome to another Rush review. We've got a very classy review for you. We've got your 2014 640D in individual color. This is a moonstone metallic on the exterior, and on the inside, I call it a pig in a blanket. This is an individual interior as well as the entire car, the rims, all individual. Remember, the theme of today is individuality. And we'd like to thank Stanley Care for cleaning the interior and keeping it as beautiful as it came from factory. Here are the numbers. This inline six is pushing out 230 kilowatts and 630 newton meters of torque. Engine specs, 310 horsepower, 630 newton meters of torque, all from a 3-liter inline six twin turbo diesel. This car has enough torque to tickle the harmonics of the earth. This car has a beautiful interior with the leather wrapping the Bang & Olufsen sound system, as well as the white inserts that are actually two different shades. There's one part that is like a white ivory tabletop counter that you find in Hyde Park, as well as a cream white interior that is leather, as well as the tan leather on top of that. It's really a stunning interior and beautiful place to be. You know, I call this interior more of like a pig in a blanket because of the colors and how comfortable and warm it is when you're inside. Roof lining is also in Alcantara, so from the pillars to the roof, Alcantara. Even the covering for the sunshade and the sunroof, Alcantara. This is just insane. Individual, one of one, I would say. Exterior, interior. I've never seen a car like this on the roads. So, what do you think about it?
No, I think it's quite amazing because this can kind of show BMW's levels of customization and sort of things like Aston Martin has Q, Mercedes-Benz has manufacturer, and people think like BMW interiors back in the day especially were quite rudimentary and like they're quite simple and you didn't have that much to play with. But if you went to BMW individual, you could do a lot. And this interior in particular, I remember when it came out back when it did, you could go onto the BMW website and they could show you like there was a specific website for BMW individual, and this was one of the interiors that were preset you can get like this. I think this car is also quite rare in this interior spec. Like if you see it, you should know it's something very, very special. And you've heard Leander talk about like the wood. It's like white wood that looks like ivory, almost like an elephant's tusk sort of color, and it's just an incredible amount of detail. Even the stitching, the piping is different contrasting colors. And yes, BMW being a very sporty brand, you'd think, they can't do something this luxurious, but they can. You just have to ask.
As you can see, luxury in this car goes undisturbed. With this B-pillar, we have Alcantara and no seatbelt holder. As you can see, the seatbelt holder is on the seat. Very interesting. In the rear, we have the rear shade blockers. Some might call them peasant blockers, but that's what you get in the rears as well. And it's also controlled in the rear control on the window switch, as well as in the front control. You can control the rear, and the rear doors also have the shade blockers. So if you're a tall person, sitting behind yourself won't really work because you get these low-slung shoulders and sloping roofline, and that sacrifices the rear cabin space as well as the boot space. So sitting behind yourself as someone above 5'5" won't really work. This is a Grand Coupe, and it started out life as a coupe, meaning that you could control the seats from the rear to the front. But I don't know if you can do that while driving. You see, these are the things that seem like a bit of an afterthought, but it makes sense because who's gonna put an entire seat holder back into the pillar and just for the Grand Coupe design? It doesn't really make sense. But I wonder if you can control this while driving. That would be very interesting to see. Can I sit behind myself? Let's see that. So one thing about the Grand Coupe is that, okay, interestingly, I am about 6 foot, I would say 188 centimeters for our South African friends, and I have headroom. I actually have headroom. I didn't expect this, and I'm very cozy, insanely cozy. Like, this car does feel as though it was a coupe first, and then, became a Grand Coupe, but it's not that bad. Like, it's really, really good. It's really, really cozy. There's leather everywhere. Like, everywhere you feel quality. And I think that's a very important part about this piece, about this design. It's honestly insane. You have your own center console for your air control, and you have the Bang & Olufsen down here as well as behind you. So the tweeters, I'm sure the entire sound system just sounds crazy. Let's get into something else. Practicality is great. You can drop the rear seats, put your golfing clubs, whatever else you need, and keep it going, keep it pushing. Right here, we have the ISOFIX points for your baby seats. Over here, there's 2 of them, and there's 1 at the back as well, also on the other seats. So you unzip the leather. This is ridiculous. You unzip the leather, and then you have access to the ISOFIX points. Instead of losing those flaps, those plastic flaps that just sit there clamped in or not, you know, you have it covered with a zip. And there we go. Just like that, you have your ISOFIX points for your baby seats. And it even shows you an emblem of a baby. Wow. Let's get into the business end of things. And we have here the first aid bag. Original, unzipped, unopened, unutilized first aid bag. It's all there, it's all together. Everything. Look at that, from 2014. We are in the back of the Grand Coupe. And obviously you have to grab some leather, put your elbow on some leather when you want to relax, put your drinks, a little bit of plastic, and a few more things. So in the back here, you have a storage compartment. A small storage compartment, you can store a book, you can store stacks of paper, maybe a Bible, such as a book. And then after that, you can close that up. Once you've closed that up, you can open the entire hatch. The entire hatch will take you inside the boot, and you can take this entire compartment out. Or if whatever you're putting through the boot is dirty, you want to cover your leather and leave this on. That is the back of the 650D individual spec. These dome lights in the rear have a very interesting feature. You can point them any direction that you'd like them to go. So it looks like they swerve on like an X and a Y axis, and you can literally just point them exactly where you want them to be, and they will be there. This is German ingenuity at its finest. Wow, that's very interesting, I must say. I must say, I really enjoy the comfort and luxury that is in this car. Everything is just, honestly, to the touch, to the look, to the eye, to everything that you touch and feel and look at is just luxurious, especially the seats, right? So what happens here is that you got a bunch of controls. So you can not only just adjust the height and pitch of the seat, but you can also adjust the headrest that's going up and going down, as well as the top part of the seat can come forward. That is the top half. The bottom half is then the bolster. You can adjust again, adjust your bolstering, as well as you can adjust your lumbar. So you have lumbar, you have the seat part in the front that you can adjust as well. Everything is electronic, so you don't have to really move anything around. Memory seats as well, and yeah, it's honestly, it's all just spectacular. Over here we have an individual 20-inch rim. I really can't believe. It's difficult to fathom the spec. Genuinely, it's such a beautiful spec. It's such a beautiful design. Everything fits as it should be. This color is insane. Off of this beautiful 20-inch rim, individual wheel with the center cap, so that it doesn't show that there are lug nuts. It doesn't show that this is a normal car. It's not normal. There's nothing normal about this car. Everything that is a blemish is hidden, or either wrapped in leather, or if it's wrapped in plastic, the plastic is dyed tan. In this beautiful Grand Coupe, we have the LED adaptive lights by BMW, as well as the heads-up display, and a few other beautiful features that we'll get into when we get inside and onto the road. I would love to feel how this car feels on the road. If it is as luxurious as it is to look at, imagine how it feels rolling, cruising through the city. Just imagine it. Oh my goodness, she is a beauty, and that goes unsaid. Honestly, I am really, generally I do reviews on cars with Larish engines, V8s, whatever it might be, something crazy. And this is what the Rush reviews are about. It's about something interesting, and this is so interesting. I saw this car first, I think, maybe 4 years ago, and I've never seen one since or even prior. So I thought to myself, this has to be a Rush review car. This has to be a car on our channel. We only do the special things that we find special, and this is genuinely a stunning car. I think this goes against the CLS and the A7, but this is much more interesting than the A7 and much more beautiful than the CLS. This is those times, and I think that because it came out later, as the CLS, as the A7, this was basically the last of the Grand Touring 4-doors of that time. And my goodness, is it stunning. Let's see what this engine can do. Alright guys, on the road in the 640D. What a luxurious place to be. Now I'm really enjoying this time that I'm having over here. I've just started moving the car around, and yeah, cozy, comfortable, isolated. You're locked off from the world. The interior just feels so spacious, let me tell you. The amount of glass that's all around just brings in a lot of light, and that light adds to the effect. Doesn't sound much like a diesel at all, to be honest. Definitely has the torque for it, but it doesn't really sound like it. In fact, it's a very quiet car. Even though it's sitting on 20-inch rims that are 35 with a 35 profile, comfy, very, very comfy. The heads-up display is on, and yeah, man, I'm really liking this white section on the wheel. Beautiful to look at. Genuinely, just sitting in this cabin really makes you feel like you're that guy. You feel very important in this cabin, I must say, because you can sit really low and you can just look out and see the world in a different perspective. I'd say you're seeing it from a rich aspect, ratio. For the guys who are into camera stuff, you'll get the joke. And it feels sporty. As much as I haven't even stepped on it and pressed it and seen what it can do, you sit really low in this car. And that's the thing with BMWs. BMWs are really good at allowing you to feel like you're in a sports car all the time. Dynamically, BMWs will always be top tier, top spec, top trim when it comes to performance. So in the infotainment screen, it's not a touch screen. It's pretty large screen. We've got the iDrive 5. So yeah, we're still on the iDrive menu, but very, very nice screen to have. Everything is luscious, everything is spacious. In Sports Plus, let's see how this car pulls. Wow. Whoa! Oh, this thing pulls, man. And it doesn't stop. Oh! Wow, okay, this is a diesel, but it revs all the way to 5.5. It does not sound like a diesel, let me tell you something. At all. This does not sound like a diesel. What? Oh, this thing pulls. It goes. It does not take any prisoners, and it even does the auto rev matching between gears, downshifting. Wow, that was exhilarating. That was fun. That was very fun. And it's so stable, being that it's a 6 Series, you can see that it's kind of wide and flat. And that's how it is. Especially when we launched, it doesn't just, drop the rear and lift the front. everything just drops and goes. Everything is very flat and stable. I'd love to see how it maneuvers in corners and I guess bends and stuff like that. But we'll get into that a bit later. So we're gonna go into this area here. So yeah, immense torque. Immense torque. Traction control really held everything together with ease, no problem. It probably just spun the inner tire and then held everything else back together. Again, traction was in like halfway. So I was prepared. I was prepared for, you know, correcting, but there was no need. I could just keep the wheel turned, leave my foot flat, keep it going, keep it flowing like the water. So that's the kind of technology you get into this car. Let's pull once again. Oh, doesn't stop pulling.
And the shifts are
Quick shifts, 8-speed ZF. Really does what it needs to do. Quietly. And you can hear that, like, you know, BMW's always been able to maintain their sound. To maintain the sound of the straight six. Doesn't matter what BMW you're in. If it's a straight six, it'll sound like a BMW. It just has that distinct sound. It's kind of like the smell of a Mercedes leather. It has that distinct smell of like the older leather cars. Dynamically, love it. Let's see if you guys can hear it. Very quiet car. You probably couldn't hear what was going on until the end, but honestly, this is a diesel car that revs up to basically 6, man. 6 grand. Real. Alright guys, we're getting into the dynamics. Stopping a car this heavy is a bit of a challenge, but it does it so well. Beautiful, beautiful performance, I must say. It's a bit floaty, going laterally. Obviously, it's not meant to do what we're doing. It does it very well. The open diff is open enough to make sure that we're safe and secure. On the non-M cars, they don't open the diffs up. Well, they do open the diffs up quite a lot, so really, even with DSC off, you'll always have a safety net. Always. And the safety net is what? Your diff. Very nice to actually feel what this car can do. Genuinely speaking. Big, heavy car, but it's doing everything that we need it to do. Dynamically, God, I love this car. This is the end of our review, and this is not the end of this car. This is just a small time capsule of 2015. And I must tell you, they did such a beautiful job making this interior spec, from the wheels to the paint to the interior, insane. When we move on to the engine pulls and pulls and pulls through the gears. It's like, oh, you didn't get enough in this gear, we've got more in the next. It just keeps going. The torque, you can never get enough of it. And the way it sounds as it's pulling, listen, this does not sound like a diesel car. And I think this is the best 6 Series you can get.